Yes, it does increase taxes by actually more than $1.1 trillion. I think that bears repeating. It increases taxes by more than $1.1 trillion, with a T, dollars over the next 5 years. This includes actually $427 billion in increases on top of the $683 billion in the underlying Democratic budget. The differences between the Republican budget priorities and those of my friends, my Democrat friends, frankly, are rather clear. They're crystal clear. The Democratic budget that came to the floor yesterday will raise taxes by $683 billion over the next 5 years. Apparently, however, some of my Democratic friends think that this is still, that increase is still not enough. So this substitute raises taxes by, as I said before, $1.1 trillion over the next 5 years. Now, however, Mr. Chairman, the Republican substitute that will be offered later today does not raise a single penny in taxes. It contains absolutely no tax increases. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to take some time to discuss, frankly, the underlying Democratic budget. Last year, the Democratic budget promised to raise taxes by $217 billion. And a lot of us were shocked because that was such a huge tax increase. A lot of us thought that was a lot of money. But this year, they offer a newer and frankly bolder, more dramatic budget, a more dramatic tax increase than last year. The underlying Democratic budget raises taxes by over $683 billion over 5 years. It sets up years and years of even higher spending and higher taxes. Mr. Chairman, at last week's committee markup, the budget committee that I'm privileged to serve on, a number of my Republican colleagues and I offered several amendments to extend the widely popular middle-class tax provisions. And we're going to hear, that this budget and the underlying Democratic budget only raises taxes on the wealthy. Well, we had that debate also in the budget committee. So we offered some amendments to see if, in fact, maybe they had just made a mistake. And yet not one of these common sense tax relief provisions, amendments, were adopted. Every single Democrat on the committee voted against these amendments. And I want to talk about what those amendments are, because again, we're going to hear time and time again, oh, that's tax cuts for the wealthy. No, let's talk about the specifics of the amendments that were voted down, that did not receive one single Democratic vote in the committee. They voted against extending the $1,000 child tax credit. I don't know, maybe it's different in the rest of the country, but in Florida, not only the wealthy have children. And they voted against that, against extending the $1,000 child tax credit, and thus raising taxes on families with children by $51 billion. They voted against extending the marginal tax rates for all Americans, and thus increasing taxes by $326 billion. They voted against, Mr. Chairman, eliminating the death tax. And I thought we could at least all agree that there should be, as a friend of mine here once said on the floor, no taxation without respiration. But no, they voted against eliminating the death tax, increasing taxes again by $181 additional dollars. They voted against extending the tax relief for married couples, increasing taxes by $25 billion on married couples. And again, I don't know, maybe Florida is different, but at least in the state of Florida, not only the wealthy get married. That is a tax increase on every married couple in the entire country. They voted against extending the 10% tax bracket for the very low income taxpayers. That's correct. No, we'll hear time and time again, no, we only want to raise taxes on the wealthy. Yes, but then why did they vote? Why did they vote against extending the 10% tax bracket for the very low income taxpayers? Against extending the state and local sales tax deductions for states like Florida, Nevada, and Texas, where people should be able to deduct what they pay in sales taxes, because we don't have an income tax which is deductible in other states. Again, this provision expires this year, but the Democratic budget rejected this deduction, increasing taxes on Floridians and others right away. My friends on the other side of the aisle claim they support tax relief, and they'll say it time and time again. But frankly, their actions just don't match their rhetoric. Those amendments were defeated in committee just a few days ago. Those amendments, which were not tax cuts for the wealthy, as we're going to hear, no, they were for middle class and middle class Americans, for families in the United States, and they voted against every single one of those amendments, and they voted, again, every single one of our colleagues from the Democratic side voted against those tax cuts for middle America, for American families, for small businesses.